Hello and welcome to the BREAS tutorial series. In this video, we will show you how some of the primary alarms react in a practical on the NIPPY 4 and 4 Plus. To begin with, we need to consider the types of alarms you may encounter. There are high and medium priority alarms to be aware of, which will appear and sound differently. High priority alarms are denoted by a red message on the screen and a red flashing LED light on the top right of the interface. Medium priority alarms are denoted by a yellow message on the screen and a yellow flashing LED light on the top right of the interface. You will notice the two types of alarms have unique audible signals to allow easy differentiation when not within view of the screen. To mute an alarm, press the audio mute button on top of the device. This will mute an alarm for 1 minute, but the ventilator will still react audibly to the next alarm that may arise. Typically, you would like the ventilator's clinically set alarms to react to the following key events, which may result in the patient becoming underventilated. High unintentional circuit or mask leak. Circuit disconnection. CO2 rebreathing due to a leakage port or active exhalation valve problem. Circuit obstructions. For invasively ventilated patients, an unplanned decannulation event. Please note, as we go through the alarms in this video, what you would see in a real-life scenario depends on what alarms have been set and in what way they have been set by the clinician. So, in the event of a high unintentional circuit or mask leak, you might see any of the following more commonly set alarms on the NIPPY 4 or 4 Plus, depending on what has been set by the clinician. High flow, low pressure, disconnection, high VTE, high minute ventilation. In the event of a circuit disconnection, depending on what alarms have been set by the clinician on the NIPPY 4 or 4 Plus, you may see any of the following alarms. High flow, low pressure, disconnection, low VTE, low minute ventilation. In the event of a blocked or accidentally removed CO2 leakage port, you are likely to see these alarms on the NIPPY 4 or 4 Plus. Low flow alarm or rebreathing alarm. If you are using the NIPPY 4 Plus with an active exhalation valve circuit, we need to consider what alarms we might see if the active valve is malfunctioning for any reason. If the pilot line that controls the active valve function becomes pinched or twisted somehow, it depends at what stage of the previous breath cycle as to what alarms you may see next. If it was pinched at the peak of inspiration, depending on what alarms are set by the clinician, you would potentially see low flow, low VTI, low MVI, rebreathing, exhalation valve control error. If the pilot line is pinched during exhalation or becomes disconnected from the back of the NIPPY 4 Plus, you would potentially see high flow, high VTI, high MVI, disconnection, rebreathing, exhalation valve control error. In the event of a circuit obstruction, for example from a kink or a twist in the tubing, or perhaps a patient secretion or water buildup in the circuit, you might expect to see the following alarms, depending on what has been set by the clinician. Low flow, low VTE, low MVE, obstruction alarm. With the NIPPY 4 Plus, if you are using a volume-controlled mode, you would likely see a high-pressure alarm as the device increases the IPAP over several breaths, as it fails to achieve its set delivered tidal volume through an obstructed circuit. In the event of an unplanned decannulation of a tracheostomy tube, given the high resistance that still exists due to the narrow internal diameter of a tracheostomy tube, we could see any of the following alarms, depending on what has been set by the clinician. Disconnection, but this depends on the width of the tracheostomy tube that is being used. Low VTE, low minute ventilation. On the NIPPY 4 Plus, if you are using a volume-controlled mode, You would likely see a high-pressure alarm as the device increases the IPAP over several breaths as it fails to achieve its set delivered tidal volume. When the NIPPY 4 or 4 Plus are set into a CPAP mode, there is no backup breath rate. As such, it is important to know if there is a lack of any patient inspiratory effort. You can see in a CPAP setup the total flow should be exceeding the low flow alarm limit, and the tidal volume should be exceeding the low volume alarm limit. In the event of a lack of any patient breathing effort, you may see one or more of the following alarms, depending on what has been set by the clinician: low flow, low VTE, low minute ventilation, or an apnea alarm. We hope you found this video on the functionality of the primary alarms useful. For more information and other tutorial videos on how to use the NIPPY 4 and NIPPY 4 Plus, please visit the Education by Breas website. Thank you for watching.